I'm in my fourth year of PhD and staying motivated all the time is just so difficult. It's not possible also that you can stay motivated all the time considering the length of this course. If this was 3 months or 6 months, then it's a different thing. But otherwise, staying true to your goal, just not losing your head over it is difficult. I understand it's difficult. I was just going through a Reddit post, okay? Now, Reddit posts are like somewhat like Quora. There is a subreddit, means it's a subcategory. I'll leave the link in the description if you're interested. So, somebody has posted that submitting a thesis which you no longer care about is so tough. And this hit me so hard. Many of the times you take admission not knowing what to do, and you don't realize what you are getting into till you are in the middle of it, and now like you have to swim your way out. I understand, and many students leave also at this stage. It just sometimes it's just difficult to make sense of all the things together. Emotions can really affect what people say, and how much ever you try to be strong and bold, I think boldness comes in actions, but at the feelings level, you do get hurt. I recently wanted to submit a publication, but somebody said something, and it really broke my heart. From that time to this time, I'm just struggling to finish it and trying to submit it. You cannot deny that sometimes you get into such a negative loop that it seems impossible to come out of it. One thing what I do is I try to focus on the elements that my PhD has where I can enjoy. Okay. So basically, how much ever you're in a negative situation, there will be certain things like my PhD is the one which made me start this YouTube channel. Okay. I have mentioned this in my previous videos also. My career graph was straight. It was clear net, do PhD, get job, permanent job as assistant professor, and that's how I had seen the life to be. But when I took admission over here and things started affecting me to the point that it started affecting work, then I realized a problem motivation was and the kind of scenario which is there. That is one, and I feel probably the only thing that I enjoy about my PhD. Of course, there are certain people, there is a lot of exposure that you get. I don't think my communication skills would have improved. Whatever it is right now, it was much less earlier. And I used to hesitate to speak to people who are in the opposite league or who did not like me or whatever. But now I am in a position that whatever you get my enemy, I don't have enemies, but if there was one, you get that person in front of me, I think I'll be able to speak to that person. Something will be there and you can try to focus on that particular thing. And I've always preached this, find happiness outside PhD. Sometimes I go for retreats, sometimes I go for programs which have no link with my PhD topic or anything, just to get a breather. When you have one topic for 5 years, it can really get on your nerves and really challenge your creativity. Whenever creativity goes down, you have to fuel it back. So, interacting with others outside your work zone really helps me at least, and I encourage you to do so. We don't really understand what are the different things that we go through. We don't really understand how things can really get to us. Okay, and it's our responsibility to get out of this kind of situation. Now this point that I'm going to explain, I used to not believe in earlier, but recently I've started. So finding effective rewards. What is that one thing that you truly enjoy? Okay. For me, sometimes it's going in a very scenic situation, like surrounded by nature, moving in a very slow-paced life. That is what fills my soul. I had actually ignored this part of me earlier, but I've recently started traveling, going to places where You just go and sit there, enjoy. You need not participate in anything, you just observe. So whether it is going on a trip, doing something that you enjoy like donating or community work, some of them may enjoy cooking, painting. I don't particularly enjoy these things, but these are some of the activities that you enjoy. So what is that one thing that you enjoy and you really find your solace in? If you think of an engineer, I will get to why I'm giving an example of engineer. But if you really think of an engineer, is building something, whatever, and then the final product is there. There is a concept called as reverse engineering. You see the end target and then you backtrace from there. What would be the second last step? What would be the step before that? So if you are finding something like PhD is a large goal, whatever your topic is, then what you can do is from there break down to certain steps and focus on one step at a time. One way of doing this is to make a presentation. Okay, you can easily do it in Microsoft or in Canva. Put all your results and see how it will look in the final. If say suppose you are presenting it to a panel, then will you be able to present this presentation? This gives an idea of how you can go around things and how things will look when you are actually presenting, and that motivates me. Okay, this is one thing that I've recently started doing, where every week whatever results I've got in a week, I put it in a presentation and see if I will be able to present this to a panel. So that puts you in a zone and makes you motivated. And one thing to understand is that we feel that our family doesn't understand us, friends don't understand us, but to motivate you, you need not rely on people who have accomplished those things. Okay. Somebody who has not accomplished that particular thing can also be a support system, can also motivate you. Okay. For example, a mother works in a school as in a canteen, say suppose, and the desire that she has to fulfill her child's needs itself is a great motivator. You can of course look up to people who have already achieved that goal, but something of your desire, something of a person that is around you, that if you finish this, then you might be of some help to this person. So these are also some of the things that can really motivate and can put you in the groove. We always think of starting from zero. Now say suppose you want to get in shape, you are starting in mentally, you are starting from zeros. So zero, the goal is here. But what if before that you have already achieved a lot of things? To be able to reach to that consciousness that you have to get into shape, you have to be healthy. To get to that consciousness also some work has gone into it. So what I'm trying to say over here is, you are not at 0 and you are not aiming at 100. You are at say suppose 40 or 60 and then the way forward. So we are not looking at what we have already accomplished so far. When I think of the person who had just taken admission for the course and now that I'm in 4th year, it astonishes me to how far I have come in terms of whatever skill set, in terms of whatever my mental health aspects of it. If I think that I have to start at 0 and reach over here, that means I'm negating all the aspects that have come so far, that I have worked on so far, and it's a huge accomplishment. And also sometimes I feel that whatever thoughts you get, they are not really a true representation of what is going on. You are not your thoughts. So many of the times the thoughts that we get are limiting beliefs, that after getting a PhD you need to get into teaching, or it's a waste of your degree, or you need to get into research or something, or some kind of job. But it need not be true. You can start from wherever, you can start at any level, and you can make your way through it. I used to also think that I'm not good at numbers and all that. But when I started doing my work, hardly I just have to put all the data in the presentation. in Excel and thing will be done. I don't have to do it manually. These are some of the things that we have in our head, and it may not be a true representation of our fact. And the problem is that sometimes we tie our identity to it. If you are an introvert, you always have this feeling that you won't be able to manage if there are situations involving people and all that. But an introvert can also give a successful presentation. An introvert can also mix with people. It's just that the person needs some time to recover or sort of to take rest. Okay, because sometimes the external stimuli can tend to overwhelm you. Most of the time, motivation is what you need in the middle. Okay, when you start the process, you are excited, so you are in that full zone. When you are ending the process, that motivation is there. Okay, finally I am submitting my PhD. But in the middle is the one where you need the most of it. And instead of seeing it as a chunk of few years, you can see it as a chunk of a month or a quarter. Okay? When we are thinking of a goal in terms of 5-year range or 7-year range, then it can really affect the mental health. Now though, I break my goals in a weekly manner, and that's how I pursue it, in a weekly or monthly manner, and that's how I process it. So it's not that you are doing everything in one go, and these results you put it in your final presentation, as I said earlier, and see if you can present it. So this really helps in putting things in perspective. I just want to say that staying motivated is not the default. Staying without doing anything is the default. So if you are working, you are going against the resistance, you are doing something, you are presenting, you are going for a conference, it's against the resistance. So obviously there will be some form of inertia that you have to overcome, and only when you get started that momentum will build. It's your responsibility towards your mental health, it's your responsibility towards whatever frustrations that are there, because sometimes, and many of the times, I've always felt that people around me don't understand me, people around you may not be able to understand you, and it's not their responsibility to understand you. It's your responsibility to put yourself on a priority and work towards it. Don't worry, we'll come out of this mess soon. Okay?